This is Chris Kelly with a quick overview of our beginner nutrition program. All right, the key with nutrition for those that really are not on a diet right now or you struggle with complex diets is to keep things very simple. All right, simplicity and consistency equals success. So in this program, we're not going to count calories. We're not going to worry about a bunch of confusing numbers. I'm just going to show you a basic way to eat, and we're going to use some guidelines with which to structure your nutrition. Okay, so a couple of questions to ask yourself. These are what we call our big four. Number one, are you eating slowly? Okay, for a lot of people, they wolf down their food so quickly that they eat food that they wouldn't necessarily otherwise, just because it takes us 15 and 20 minutes to understand whether or not we're full. That kind of explains how somebody could go to a buffet, really stuff their face for 15 and 20 minutes and just feel horrible afterwards. So think about eating slowly and slowing things down a little bit. That's super important. And the other part of that is just eating until we're 80% full. So leave a couple bites, because the key is that as we lose body fat, we want our stomach to shrink and contour to accommodate that. So by not constantly stuffing our face, whether it be with vegetables or with whatever, that's going to allow that to occur. The next portion is where are the protein-dense foods. We want to get at least one palm-sized portion of protein with each major meal, whereas women get one and men get two. Protein is like eating a brick, okay, versus eating like a nice fluffy piece of cotton candy. Protein is very hard to digest, and our body uses more calories in order to do that, all right? Whereas when we're eating carbohydrates, that's not necessarily the case. Our body doesn't want to use protein for energy, but in a dietary state, what we're basically doing is tricking it in order to burn some more body fat and or burn some more calories as fuel. And that's what we want, okay? Is we want our body to be working harder in order to make that happen. The other part is vegetables, all right? We're looking for at least one fish-sized portion per major meal. And I want to emphasize with both protein and vegetables, those are major meals. That's not like, your snacks throughout the day. Those are major things that we eat at these major meals. And what happens with vegetables is the same idea. Vegetables are also like eating a brick, all right? They're either non-digestible or they take a long time to digest because of the fiber. So that's going to help to keep us full. It's going to alleviate our cravings, and it's going to ensure that we don't feel that just these terrible cravings throughout the day. So one thing that I always do with clients who are craving late at night or whatever it may be is up their vegetable intake, because that absolutely helps with that. As far as the carbs go, if your goal is to lose fat, you want to replace your starchy carbs, such as pasta, rice, and potatoes, with a double serving of veggies, okay? So just load up on the veggies. You really can't go wrong with that. And, it's not a completely low-carb approach, like we're not taking everything out of the equation, but more vegetables are what we want. Okay, so if we look at plates, okay, we look at what a plate should look like at a typical meal. This is what we call your anytime plate, because this is what you can have anytime that you eat. Okay, we have protein, which is the second largest serving. Okay, and we talked about a palm-sized serving for females and a double palm-sized serving for males of some sort of a protein. Okay, and that could be, tofu, it could be an animal protein, whatever it may be. Veggies are our largest serving of our plate. And again, this is referring to major meals. Okay, so that could be, broccoli, it could be cauliflower, squash, whatever it may be. The only thing I would avoid would be let's say corn, because corn is actually a starch. So just something to keep in mind. And then as well, just a little bit of healthy fat. So that could be oils, nuts, what have you. But the two most important things here are really our protein and our veggies, to ensure that we're taking in the right things to keep this fat burning process going on all the time. Our next would be our post-workout plate. Okay, and I said we're not totally cutting things out of the equation, and I don't necessarily recommend not eating starchy carbohydrates all the time. But what I tell people is you need to earn them. Okay, so after we have a workout, our body needs certain resources to rebuild. Okay, it needs a lot of protein. Okay, so you see that we have a larger portion of protein on our plate, but it's also going to need a starch of some kind. Okay, so that could be oats, pasta, potato, rice, all the things that we're trying to avoid for fat loss, you can actually eat after your workout. And when I say workout, I mean a strength training workout. Not necessarily a high-intensity interval or cardio workout, but only strength training. Okay, and by doing that, that's going to help our muscles to rebuild, and it's going to ensure that this stuff goes to the right places. So just choose your post-workout plate. You know, the time that we can have starchy carbs are after our workouts on our strength training days. Okay, and I get a lot of questions about what to take in before a workout, and here are some ideas. Okay, and we're looking at fat loss here. 2 to 3 hours beforehand, our body has a lot of time to digest things. Okay, so you can have something like a full meal, eggs or protein shake with fruit and veggies. Okay, things that take a while to break down. Whereas, you know, if we're looking at only 30 to 60 minutes beforehand, you're going to be looking at a skinless fruit along with a protein shake. Again, these are things that require less digestion, so, you know, you can take them in. And then during a workout, you know, if you just wake up out of bed and you run in, you know, get a protein shake only, something that can be digested quickly. You know, if digestion is obscured or slowed down when we're working out. So if you eat a huge meal and then you run in to work out, you know, that's not going to be the best result. And I've seen people get nauseous over that. So just choose a protein shake, something that, or, you know, even a glass of milk, something that is going to be digested in liquid form, you know, and our body's not working to digest that while we're lifting heavy weights or we're doing interval training of some kinds. So let's look at what our meal template might look like. Okay, and we use what we call flexible meal template here. Okay, you're going to be able to, you're going to get this as well in a handout that we give you. But basically, when we're looking at a non-workout day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like this: 1 serving of protein, okay, and then a fruit or a vegetable for breakfast. Same for lunch, and the same for dinner. Kind of cut off there. For our snack, we have a quick snack, okay, which I'll show you when we go to our next slide, or a vegetable and a protein, okay. And really the only difference for a workout day is that during our post-workout meal, we have a protein along with 1 to 2 starches, okay. And these are things that are categorized, meaning we have a bunch of different proteins that we've listed in a shopping list, as well in fruits and vegetables that you can choose from based upon your preference, okay. So let's check this out. So you can see that for protein, a serving for a female would consist of 4 to 6 ounces, whereas for a male, that's 6 to 8 ounces. And we've included, you know, many different things here, but you could choose whatever you want within reason. Okay, you're not going to overeat protein most of the time as long as you stick to these guidelines. For vegetables, really that's anything. Okay, again, I just listed a couple examples there, but other than corn, you know, you're good. So 1 to 2 cups, unless otherwise noted, but that's arbitrary. You know, you could have really as many vegetables as you want as long as you're, you know, adhering to the 80% thing. You know, choose whatever you like, you know, and go for that. As far as fruit goes, you know, 1 medium fruit or a cup is what we'd be looking at. And for quick snacks, we're talking about, you know, just some things that I've found success with. I call them quick snacks because these are things that, you know, you could eat in class or you could eat, you know, while you're working or whatever it may be. Beef jerky, pork rinds, cottage cheese, lunch meat slices, cheese cubes, protein shake, protein bar, string cheese, sliced lunch meat, and hard-boiled eggs. These are all things that are pretty quick and accessible and things that I've found success with.